Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is 10:03. I'm excited to be here. We will call the Risk and Audit Committee meeting to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll. Present.
David Miller.
Here.
Fiona Ma. Jose Luis Pacheco.
Present.
Kevin Pauke.
Good morning.
Ramon Rubacava.
Present.
Melissa Willett.
All right, thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Agenda item 2 is the executive report, and I will call on Kevin Fine.
Thank you. Good morning, Madam Chair. Mr. Vice Chair, committee members, Kevin Fine, CalPERS team member and Chief Compliance Officer. Happy to be with you here today. During the Board of Administration meeting on February 18th, 2025, the Chair of the Risk and Audit Committee recommended, and it was approved, to allow CalPERS staff to issue a request for proposal for the selection of an independent financial statement auditor. Additionally, it was approved to use a subcommittee of the Risk and Audit Committee to interview and recommend a finalist to the full committee and Board of Administration for a 5-year contract that will exceed $1 million. On May 20th, 2025, CalPERS released RFP number 2025-9427 to initiate a competitive selection process to engage the services of a qualified audit firm to perform audits of CalPERS financial statements for fiscal years 2025-26 through 2029-30. We are here today to review the finalist firms that the subcommittee has recommended for interviews. There will be 4 finalist firms to interview. The Risk and Audit Committee has decided that the full committee will perform the interview portion of the RFP selection process and score the finalist forms. Unless there are any questions, that concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fine. Appreciate that. So as you said, today is the full Risk and Audit Committee. We are interviewing the finalists. At this time, I'd like to ask Justin Heeb from CalPERS, Contracts and Procurement Manager, to provide a summary of the RFP, as well as the activities to date and the logistics of the interview process.
Good morning, Madam Chair.
Morning.
Mr. Chair, Vice Chair, and committee members. Justin Heeb, CalPERS team member. The CalPERS Board of Administration has delegated to this committee the authority to conduct the selection of the independent financial statement auditor and to recommend a finalist to the board. On May 20th, 2025, CalPERS released the RFP number 2025-9427 to seek vendor participation to perform external independent audits of CalPERS financial statements for fiscal year 2025-26 through 2029-30. CalPERS received 7 proposals by the final filing date of July 7th, 2025. 4 of those 7 proposals passed the technical proposal evaluation and had their fee score opened and scored. All 4 finalists, BDO USA PC, Crow LLP, KPMG LLP, and Plant Moran PC, were invited for oral interviews as scheduled today. I would like to take time to update the committee on the preliminary technical scores for each of the finalists, ranked from highest to lowest. BDO USA PC received 300 points for their fee proposal, 50 points for their DVBE incentive points, for a preliminary total score of 350 points. KPMG LLP received 288.68 points for their fee proposal score and 50 points for their DVBE incentive points, for a preliminary total of 338.68 points. Plant Moran PC received 294.59 points for their fee proposal, 50 points for their DVBE incentive points, for a preliminary total score of 344.59. Crow LLP received 290.96 points for their fee proposal score, 50 points for their DVBE incentive points, for a preliminary total of 340.96. Each finalist will be allotted 50 minutes for the interview, 5-minute presentation, and a 45-minute question and answer period. All finalists will be asked the same questions. If needed, the committee will have a 5-minute period for clarifying or follow-up questions based on the finalist interview responses. At the conclusion of the interview, the committee will determine the interview score as a group for each finalist and motion the interview scores. The interview scores will be collected and combined with the preliminary total scores to determine a total score for each finalist. The committee will then be asked to make a motion recommending the board award the contract to the finalist and the highest total score, subject to final negotiations and satisfaction of all requirements. This concludes my summary. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for that summary. Also, just want to note that we as a group will determine the interview score for each finalist with a maximum of 700 points available for each finalist. So, Mr. Heeb, thank you for the overview. There is one more programming note for the audience that is watching this meeting remotely over the internet. We are going to turn off the webcasts of the meeting during the interviews in order to ensure that our process is fair, where no finalist will be able to see his or her competitors' interviews. We will then resume the webcast after the interviews, so then you'll be able to see the committee's discussion and score of the finalists. I want to remind the committee that once we start, please stay through the entire process. I would now ask that the roll be taken so that the record reflects the committee members present and participating in the interview selection process for this contract. So if we could do a roll call again.
Leah Cohen.
Present.
David Miller. Here. Fiona Ma. Jose Luis Pacheco.
Present.
Kevin Palkey.
Good morning.
Ramon Rubalcava.
Present.
Melissa Willett.
All right, thank you very much. And so we'll now conduct the interviews in alphabetical order. We're going to be starting with BDO USA. They will be the first. Crow LLP will be the second. KPMG LLP will be the third. And Plant Moran will be the last interview of the day. Each finalist will have 5 minutes for a presentation and 45 minutes for a question and answer period. If needed, the committee will have a 5-minute period for clarifying or follow-up questions based on the finalists' interviews responses. The clock will show you the time remaining in each segment. The committee members, please note that the questions for the finalists are included in item 2 in the finalist packet. And at this time, I'd like to remind the finalists that each of your firms signed and submitted the CalPERS Board of Administration interview form in the proposal. Committee members, I need to assign questions to each members. If you don't mind, I'd like to just assign. I'll take the first one, David Miller, second one, Jose Luis, the third one, Kevin Palkey, the fourth one, Ramon Rubalcava, the fifth one, and Melissa Willett. Was that the sixth one? All right, we got that? Thank you, sir. And ma'am, the form, going back to the administrative interview form and the proposal, this form really clearly represents a pledge that each of you will not make any attempt to listen or watch the interview of the other finalists. It also is a statement saying that nor you or anyone else on your behalf will adhere to this. And failure to adhere to this requirement will result in your firm's disqualification from this engagement. Are we in agreement? All right, thank you. Scores will be determined by the committee as a group after all finalists have been interviewed. A score will be motioned for discussion and then seconded and voted upon, or a substitute motion may possibly happen. Does anyone have any questions so far? Colleagues, any questions on this on your part? All right. If there are no questions at this point, we'll take a brief pause before beginning the interviews. Thank you very much. We will now begin the interview.